Hi everyone, so we are Group 6 and we're gonna talk about when technology meets humanity. Throughout history, humanity has created technology to make life easier, safer, and more advanced. Yet, what happens when the tools we create become more powerful than their creators? In his influential 2000 article, Why the Future Doesn't Need Us, computer scientist William Nelson Joy, or also known as Bill Joy, raised this unsettling possibility. He warned that emerging technologies such as genetics, nanotechnology, and robotics could transform not only the way we live, but also the future of humanity itself. His ideas invite us to reflect on a crucial question. Will technological progress remain a tool for humanity, or could it eventually become a threat to our existence? His background is important because he was not simply criticizing technology from the outside. He was a scientist who had personally contributed to the development of technological world. His warning, therefore, comes from someone who understood both the power and potential consequence of technological innovation. The title itself presents his central concern. Humanity may eventually create technologies so advanced that they can function, reproduce, or make decisions without human involvement. Joy was asking society to think beyond the immediate benefits of innovation and consider what technological progress could mean for human survival in the long term. So, let's talk about the key points of his writings and ideas. So, the first one is risk of advanced technology. Joy Main's concern was not technology itself, but the unintended consequences of increasingly powerful technology. Earlier technologies, such as nuclear weapons, were highly destructive but required enormous resources, specialized knowledge, and government level organization to develop. Joy argued that newer technologies could be different because their powers might become accessible to small groups or even individuals. This increases the possibility of accidents, misuse, and deliberate harm. For the second one, the GNR, or the genetics, nanotechnology, and robotics, which Bill Joy focused on particularly, which he grouped as GNR technologies. Genetics could allow humans to manipulate living organisms. Nanotechnology could potentially create extremely small machines capable of replication. And robotics could produce increasingly autonomous machines. What connects these three is their potential to alter, reproduce, or operate within the physical and biological world, making their consequences much harder to predict. The second one is technology may become uncontrollable. One of Joy's deepest fear was possibility that human could create system whose behavior they could no longer control. For example, he raised concerns about self-replicating nanobots that could reproduce beyond their intended purpose. His argument suggests a dangerous reversal of control. Technology is initially created as a tool by humans, but as it becomes more autonomous, humans may lose the ability to determine what it does and how far it goes. So, the third one is the human dependence on technology. Joy was also concerned about the rapid growth of computer processing power and machine intelligence. Considered the possibility that computers could eventually become more intelligent than humans. This raises an important question of power. If machines can think, learn, and make decisions more effectively than humans, who would remain in control? The creator or the creation? Joy connected this possibility to dystopian scenarios, such as machines' rebellion. Joy believed that the danger does not come only from the machines becoming powerful. It also comes from humans becoming increasingly dependent on them. The more society relies on technology for decision making and essential functions, the more vulnerable people become if those systems fail or behave unpredictably. In the most extreme scenario, humans could create technologies that eventually threaten the survival of the very species that developed them. So, for the last one is a reminder that technology needs caution and responsible control. The central lessons of Joyce's argument is not everything that can be invented should automatically be developed without limits. Scientific progress must be accompanied by ethical judgment, careful risk assessment, and responsible human control. Joy is essentially calling for society to ask not only what can technology do, but also should we develop it or what could happen if we lose control of it. His argument emphasizes that technology progress is valuable only when it ultimately serves and protects humanity. So for the next slides and topics will be discussed by Diana and Jessica.
So now, we will discuss about ethics in technology. As technology continues to grow, new ethical problems also appear. It is important that we use technology responsibly and make sure that it respects human rights and values. In this presentation, we will talk about four emerging ethical dilemmas in technology. So the first one is the health tracking and digital twin. Digital twins can support healthcare research, raises concerns about privacy, consent, and exploitation. So, sa digital twin daw, sa healthcare, ay kopya ng katawan mo sa computer para magamit sa research at treatment. Maganda kasi makatutulong ito sa mga doktor, pero meron din siyang disadvantages. Sinasabi dito na delikado din. Paano kung mag-leak yung data mo? Dapat may consent at hindi exploit yung health info ng pasyente. So, example, parang gumawa ng virtual na puso mo para i-test muna ng doktor yung gamot bago ibigay. So the second one is the neurotechnology and privacy. Technology can potentially influence behavior and thoughts, raises concerns about privacy and freedom. So dito daw sa neurotechnology ay technology na direktang nakakaapekto sa utak, like brain chips or mind-reading devices. Pwede nitong baguhin yung behavior at thoughts ng tao. Kaya ang tanong, paano kung gagamitin ito para kontrolin ka? Dapat protektahan ang privacy ng isip at kalayaan ng tao. For example, yung brain chip na ginagamit para makatulong sa paralyzed na tao, pero pwede rin gamitin para i-track kung anong iniisip mo. So, the third one is the genetic engineering. Can help treat genetic disease, raises ethical concerns about editing the human genome. So, ang genetic engineering ay pag-edit ng DNA para gamutin ang sakit. Malaking tulong ito sa health, pero may ethical issues. Tama ba na baguhin natin yung human genome? Paano kung gamitin ito para pumili ng baby? Dapat may limit at responsable din tayo sa paggamit nito. Halimbawa, paggamot ng sakit tulad ng cancer, gamit ang gene therapy. Pero may mga bansang gumagamit nito para pumili ng kulay ng mata o tangkad ng kanilang magiging baby. So, the last one is the weaponization of technology. Technology can be used in warfare, raises concerns about trust, control, and responsibility. So, ginagamit na ng AI, drones, at robots sa digmaan. Mas mabilis at mas deadly na ang labanan. Pero sino ang responsable? Ilan ng madadamay? Paano kung ma-hack? Kailangan natin ng rules para hindi maabuso at may accountability pa rin ang tao. For example, yung paggamit ng AI drones sa gera na kaya mamili at umatake mag-isa nang walang pumipindot nito or kumukontrol. Hindi tulad ng ibang drones na hindi siya gagana pag walang kumukontrol sa kanya or pumipindot. So, yun lang.
So let's proceed to the 5 ethicals in technology. So the first one is misuse of personal information. So for number 1, we have the issue of misuse of personal informations. Basically, whenever we use the internet, we give the informations about ourselves. For example, we created social media accounts, buying something online, or even search for a product. Company can collect some of our informations. Now, collecting informations is not always bad. Companies use it to understand what their customers like and to show us a product or advertisement that might interest us. The problem starts when our personal information is used without our knowledge or our permissions. For example, imagine searching for a shoes online and then suddenly you keep seeing that shoes advertisement everywhere. That happens because your online activity can be used to understand your interests. So the main ethical issues here is the privacy. When we say privacy, we should have some control over how our personal information is collected, stored, and also used. Technology is helpful, but companies also have a responsibility to protect the information that user give them. So for the number 2, we have the misinformations and deep fakes. For number 2, we have misinformations and deep fakes. So today, these informations can spread really fast because of social media, of course. The good thing is that we can easily get updates about what's happening around us. But the problem is, not everything we see online is true. So for example, someone can post a false story. And if the people believe it and share it without checking, thousands or 1,000,000 people can see it. This can influence the people's opinion and also even to create a conflict. Another problem is deepfakes. Deepfakes technology can make a person appear to say or do something that they never actually said or did. So a video may look real, but it could actually manipulated. That's why we shouldn't immediately believe everything we see online. We should check the source and look for the reliability informations before sharing something. The main concern here is deception, privacy, and misuse of someone's identity. So for the number 3, lack of oversight and acceptance of responsibility. So this is basically about knowing who is the responsible when something goes wrong with technology. So for example, many companies don't use only their own technology. They also use a software and services from the other companies. So imagine a company uses a third-party system to process the payments and also somehow the customer informations to get exposed. So the question is, we should be responsible, the company, the third party provider, and also, of course, both. So the answer here is that everyone involved should take a responsibility. Companies cannot simply say, that's not our system, so it's not our problem. So if they are handling people information, they still have the responsibility to ensure that the information is protected. So there should be a clear rules, proper security, cooperations between the companies and the technology providers. The information's point is that protecting people data should be shared responsibility. So next, we have the use of artificial intelligence or mas kilala bilang AI. So we all know that AI can make things easier, right? But we use AI into the different tasks like searching, searching information, creating content, recognizing faces, and also even helping the businesses or the other businesses. But even though the AI is useful, it can also create a ethical problem. So what is it? The first one is the facial recognitions. It can help to identify the people, but it can also create a privacy concern and sometimes produce a biased result, of course. So the next one is replacement of job. AI can automate certain tasks, right? Which can make the work faster, of course. But sometimes, workers may worry about losing their job. The third one is health tracking. Technology can track health informations and help during situations like pandemic, but we also need to think about the privacy or the people privacy. And lastly is the bias in AI. AI learns from the data created by human or created by us. So if the data contains a human biases, the AI also learn to those biases. Hindi lang tayo, pati yung AI na ginagamit natin. So basically, AI is not automatically good or bad. What the matter is how we develop or use it responsibly. So lastly, we have the autonomous technology. When we say autonomous technology, it refers to the technology that can perform a little with a little time or no direct human control. So, for example, here is self-driving cars, drones, and also the robotic systems. This technology can be useful. Of course, it can be useful. For example, a self-driving cars can assist people with transportations. And also, drones can be used for deliveries and also other services. But the ethical question is how much should we trust technology to make decisions on its own? Imagine the situations where the autonomous system has to make the important decisions. If something goes wrong, who should be responsible? The programmer, the company, or the machine itself? That's why human oversight is still important. Even if the technology can operate independently, people should still make sure that it is safe, properly monitored, and also being used responsibly. So the main idea in the autonomous technology is that we should not blindly trust the machine just because they are advanced. Of course, technology should help people, but the humans still have the control and responsibility, of course. So that's the 5 ethical in technology. So thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you understand or learn something with our report today. Thank you so much.